Hello, welcome to the next topic of the AWS Quick Study series, which is on pricing and support in AWS. The purpose of this module is to define some of the fundamental aspects of pricing and different tiered models on AWS, which will definitely be asked about for the Cloud Practitioner exam. All AWS services follow a consumption model, which means that you pay only for what you use. In other words, you're not paying like a subscription where like every month or something like that. Now, you do have opportunities within this consumption model to actually save money. Actually, one of the ways you don't have to do anything, because as Amazon grows, it takes advantage of the economies of scale. Prices for the services just naturally decrease. Similarly, the more that you use services, you take advantage of bulk pricing. And then finally, you can also reserve instances in advance for between 1 and 3 years. That can also allow you to take advantage of significant discounts. There's also a fourth thing here, which is something called spot instances. Essentially, that's saying that you want to utilize, for example, EC2 instances that are just not being used. So it's kind of like the breadcrumbs that other AWS customers have kind of dropped. So they're not, you can't really rely on those instances to be available at all times. However, that might be appropriate for some applications or some computation that doesn't really need to be available. So there's 3 kinds of reserved instances and are based on how much you decide you want to pay upfront. If you pay all upfront, you delineate, I'm going to use it, Monday through Friday for 3 hours every day. And then you pay all, and that's for like a whole year, between 1 and 3 years. Then you pay it all at once. And then there's partial upfront and no upfront. Pretty straightforward. Often on AWS services, you pay for 2 things. For compute resources, you're paying for either, depending if it's serverless or not, the amount of time that your service is running or the amount of time that you have it provisioned. If and when there's data transfer between either storage services and your compute, you're also paying usually only for the outbound data as opposed to the inbound data. Along with this, it is tiered. So the more data that you're transferring, the less per gigabyte that you have to pay. Inbound data transfer is, as from everything that I've studied, it's free. There might be some services where that's not the case or certain conditions. For new customers, you have that first year, which is free tier eligible, and up to certain amounts of data are completely free.